Do I have a microphone? It happens all the time. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to read. My introduction. My title is A Walk Through Used to Youth. I used to take little kids through Chinatown for walks, so this is where this all comes from. I used to be like them, eager to escape the classroom for any reason, to see the world, even the Chinatown, for a field trip. We start our walk of used-to-be's at a square named for a ship that came in response to manifest destiny. Their eyes blaze over. Cigarette smoke linger in the air as we pass chess players, moving pieces on homemade boards. The kids want to move on. Smells hit their virgin noses from many herbal shops, restaurants, incense shops, the dry goods shops. They just want to visit the souvenir shops. I take them to temples where the incense smoke shield the deities. Ancient chants play in the background. They take selfies. I take them to my old school, where only Chinese once went there, and nowhere else. They were not impressed. I guide them up the hills and through the alleys, where gangsters and slave girls shared the streets, with those who tread the straight and narrow. Easily tired, they want lunch. Fresh out of the ovens, circles of baked goodness are flat without fortunes. Once voted with vague messages of riches, the cookies entertain and feed the little hordes just before lunchtime. I take them to a restaurant for a dim sum lunch. The little ones would rather be filled up with more snacks than rather know about the used-to-be's. I hadn't been in Chinatown for a little while, so I wandered over to the Golden Gate Fortune Cookie Factory. Do you know the cost of a bag of fortune cookies?
Costs a fortune.
It is, because when I used to take little ones to Chinatown, it was like $5 a bag. They doubled it, it's $10 now. Whew, scary. So, the title is Served with a Bill. A little sugar, a little flour, a little vanilla, a splash of sesame seed oil, baked in minutes. This curved vessel would hold messages from the future. The future? Destinies created on a whim from an overflowing imagination. Good wishes, blessings, lucky numbers, even a Chinese word lesson. These flow from my pen, aided by a dictionary and the internet, all fitting onto little slips of paper. Dreams of untold wealth, all for the taking. If you crack open the circle of Christmas, served with a bill at the end of the meal. This cookie can be found anywhere but China. Complete my messages to humanity. Thank you. Gotta make sure I don't fall. All right, let's see. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, I think we'll have one more open mic. I'm going to ask Jack Melander to come up, and then we'll have our first speaker.
An old pre-love poem from several centuries ago. Soft imager for a hard scientist. Noontime, up and down the street, people passing who don't meet, but to the eyes of any one of whom does not the sultry sun suggest the figure most fun? It's the number of girls less the ones departing visions feel, plus new ones on the scene revealed at each successive moment. Yes, then multiplied by all the boys at those same times the walker sees. This product represents the joys All this stolls possibilities of bliss. This very value, elf, so why not factor in yourself? Yet wait, if we think to subtract all pairs of whom either are lacked of either a majority, or celibate about to be, and lapsed into senility, or else were someone else's spouse, or wasn't jealous and far gone, or didn't tend to get it on, or wasn't well. But let's not grouse. It's still so great, this journey stung, the chance for couplings and menages, as to smite jealousy's God's dumb, and Cupid moved to shoot barrages. None knows but you, master fantastic, those neighborhoods so orgiastic. This one is called a card for double nuptials. Pariahs and Ishmaels arise and wipe the blindness from our eyes. Let's love's a chance, but time's a felon. Put ice cream on your watermelon. Choose and live together one to savor with the joys of fun. To maybe relish finding more, till one who's 2 or 3, no, 4, delighting in variety. Delight must veil in secrecy. That secret door's fourfold menage, 2 couples duplex seem mirage. For jealousies they're dead, as feeds within his head, and here we go, illicit lusting. Desire risking friendship trusting. O wives and husbands who so bop as danced as 4-way spousal swap, take wedded to a higher power, pariahs, Ishmael, your hour. It's called Remodeled. The large duplex at Market and 3rd was long shared by the Joneses and Smiths. Then they left. To where? They left no word. Sounds like one of those strange urban myths. Yet a janitor, when they moved on, told me there across the street on my lawn that they kept the place clean, but, and then said, but between the bedrooms, the doorway had been cut.
All right. Now we come. All right, we come to our first of our 2 features. Shizue Seigel explores complex intersections of history, culture, and spirituality through prose, poetry, and visual art. The child of Japanese-American incarcerees, she grew up in Baltimore, occupied Japan, and California farm labor camps and Skid Rows. She draws on lived experience as an Army brat, the Haight-Ashbury, Indian ashrams, corporate advertising, HIV prevention, and the activist arts community. Through her arts organization Right Now, SFBay, she supports writers and artists of color through workshops, events, and anthologies. Her 8 books include 5 Right Now anthologies, most recently Uncommon Ground, BIPOC Journeys to Creative Activism. Please welcome Shizue Seigel.
It's the first time I've been to Clarion Arts, although I used to go to Clara's house when she used to have poetry readings at her house years and years ago. Some of you may have gotten some handouts from Right Now that I put on the chairs. I did these little mini publications during the pandemic to encourage writers to reach out to the public and to encourage the there's a lot of people who never come to poetry readings, never step foot in a library, And, you know, we need to encourage them to do that. So this was one of my attempts to do that. And I have 2 calls of submissions out right now. One of them is food for thought. And some of you have one of these. And if you don't leave without getting one. It's primarily for writers of color, just because they have fewer public publication opportunities, but we have published BIPOC allies as well, and folks like Alan Harris, who I hope you're going to read at the open mic later. I've done 5 anthologies of writers and artists of color. So feel free to thumb through them if there's a break at some point. I'm going to read some pieces. I hope that I'm going to sort of mix and match a little bit from what I read the other night. Recipe for Disaster. Put on your rose-colored glasses. Pick a goal beyond your capacity. Strew liberally with blush-colored camellias. Add 2 cups of starlight, 1 cup of hubris, and a double handful of impatience. Cook tightly covered over high heat until overspent and underdone. Sprinkle liberally with self-pity and enjoy. So I was stressing the other night, I was doing a reading over in the Mission and thinking about gentrification in the Mission and the homeless folks all over town and APEC being here and the horrible carnage going on in Israel, Palestine right now. And this is a poem, I tried to write a poem about it and I couldn't find the words, I was just too outraged. So this is an old piece I wrote a long time ago. Skyrockets. Someone has to hold the sky down while someone else gets to fly. Soaring, diving, falling, crashing. Some like drama, some prefer peace. Fireworks dazzle at a distance. Too close they burn and maim. The rocket maker's house stinks of saltpeter. His children terrified of sparks. I'm going to read a prose piece now because while children are being killed in Gaza, there are children being killed every day, if not in body, in spirit. So this is an excerpt from a piece that I wrote about working in public housing in the early 90s. Just across the street. Malika was the brightest kid I met in Avalon Heights in the mid-90s. At 5, she watched over the younger kids and knew all the neighborhood gossip. She was the kid that everyone sent to the store for groceries, though she could forget to give back the change until you asked. She looked forward to starting school in the fall, just across the street. From the top of Avalon Heights, we could look past the projects where she lived to the bay and the hills beyond. In the morning, the sun transformed the cloud-paved sky into hammered silver and set the bay alight with 1,000 points of light. But how far did that light reach into the concrete apartments that stepped down the steep hillside? During the 3 years I worked on an HIV prevention project there, I found out. Just across the street from Avalon Heights were an elementary school and a public health clinic. The school turned its back on housing. barricaded itself behind tall, white retaining walls topped with cyclone fence. You could see the school's impact written on the sullen faces of neighborhood kids who mostly hated school and thought they were stupid. Their mothers, educated at the same school, were reading at the second to fourth grade levels. In contrast, the low-slung health clinic next door was designed with community input. It was warm, brown, and level with the street. The residents could easily stroll over and scope out the waiting room through large windows before walking in to be greeted by the friendly staff. I've been hired to work down the road for an experimental HIV prevention project. I was supposed to gather stories from the women of Avalon Heights about their experiences with condoms and turn them into role model stories. We were trying to get the word out that AIDS was no longer a gay white man's disease. It was the fastest rising group at the time getting HIV were Black women. The outreach workers were skeptical of the project. Even with guarantees of anonymity, they were having trouble getting volunteers to come tell their stories. I told the bosses, how do you expect women to walk into a strange office to talk about their private business with a stranger? They have to meet me first and decide whether they can trust me. The bosses said, you can't go into the neighborhood without proper training. So put me through the training. Soon I was out in the neighborhood, wearing my funkiest clothes with African beads, leaving my denture at home to show off the missing teeth in front, bonding around kids, food stamps, and disappointing relationships. I may be Asian American, but I'd earned my first dollar picking strawberries on my knees, and my favorite grandma ran a Skid Row hotel in Stockton. One of the first volunteers was Charisse. Underneath her heavy-lidded calm, an undercurrent of anger flickered and flowed. At 18, her face was scattered with tiny knife scars. She'd survived a stomach wound from a jealous rival, and she'd had a child at 15, long before she was ready to stop partying. But these stories were off record. The words she allowed me to print under the pseudonym Hennessy were safe and predictable, calculated to satisfy the authorities. I didn't plan to have my daughter, but now that she's here, I'm raising her the best way I know how. And she's happy, I'm happy. I didn't get much support like mothers get their daughters. I had to figure out my life on my own. Her flyer created a positive buzz in the community. They look like this, the flyers I made. More women stepped up to tell their stories, including LaRonda, Charissa's sister, and Malika's mom. LaRonda was a lot slower to speak than Charisse, but what she said came from the heart. People think I'm stupid, but I ain't. I never done good in school, because I had too much on my mind. I was worried about getting food, about getting jacked up. I grew up in foster homes, got beat with a broomstick, wore my clothes till they was ragged. One time my foster mother got drunk and cut my face with a knife. At first, when the outreach workers started talking about condoms, I was like, yeah. But when my sister's story came out, I started thinking, who's gonna take care of my girls if something happens to me? My stomach just about dropped out, because I know it can happen with no mama around. I don't ever want my daughters to go through what I've been through. I'm gonna do all I can to make sure they keep their mama. Over the next year, Charisse and LaRonda had their ups and downs. The job ended, but I continued to visit the neighborhood long after. Over the years, Malika stopped saying hello. She began to fade into doorways with a haunted look. One day, Miss Joyce told me that Child Protective Services had come and taken Malika and her sisters away from LaRonda because her boyfriend had been molesting Malika. The following year, I learned LaRonda had been stabbed to death by her next boyfriend. The news pierced my heart as I remembered LaRonda's words, "I'm going to do all I can to make sure they keep their mama." As for the school across the street from the projects, it has transformed itself again. It has pulled itself up from the 5th rank, the lowest, to the 4th, by hosting a Chinese language immersion school in one wing. There are no African American kids in that program. So since Kim Shuck is here, let me read a poem that I think she inspired. Women weave. Long skeins of words unreel themselves amid the chatter and chop of kitchen and field. Well-worn tools cut both ways. Scalpel-sharp knives, short-handled hose for feeding or weaving, germination or execution. Clacking needles, flying shuttles, clucking tongues, old wives' tales, age-old remedies, pass the time or pass down wisdom, cloak the truth or scrape it raw, twisting and binding firmly into the warp and wet of our existence. Clothe us in the pearl and knit that is the fabric of connection, one thread, many forms. Women weave waves of words that murmur and soothe, smother and stifle, cut through the wool gathering, to stitch reality sharply into our skins in ways no electronic flicker or fabrication of whole cloth can ever do. Women weaving words, teller and listener, ebb and flow. The dark and the light of it. When did dark become a bad thing? Night is just the absence of light. Black cannot exist without white. Each blink of the eye, a moment without sight. Rotations of earth bring dusk and dawn. Black contains all colors of the pigment. Pigment. White contains all colors of the rainbow. Dark matter comprises 95% of the universe. Why do we fear what we cannot see? Why not befriend the unknown? Simple is not simplistic. The dance of fools is not always led by simpletons. Don't be beguiled by the arrogance of complexity, embroidered elegance shot through with lies, gilded with guilt and laden with envy. All that glitters may be fool's gold, encrusted with privilege, bloated egos lusting for ornamentation, born on the blood of pricked fingers, sewing into the night by the light of a guttering candle. Underfoot, a 10,000 knot carpet of finest quality, tied by the smallest child. Become as a child to enter the kingdom. The fool steps joyously off the cliff. Badger woman. The truth of me is messy and evolves every day. And yet it's been the same truth for me from the day I was born on a full moon night on Bastille Day in a segregated border town with the sun and moon in opposition, each in its fall, with Jupiter squaring Saturn and Mars squaring Uranus. I'm a collection of contradictions, perpetually putting my foot in it or blowing things up. It's all for the good, I tell myself. Maybe I'm just rationalizing the wreckage. But I'm not going there, because every stumble is a lesson, and guilt does nothing but hold me back. The fact that most people don't believe in truth bothers me less and less as I meet more and more people who live their truth. The truth is, you can read people's souls from the lines on their faces, the way they carry themselves, as if love and integrity matter, even when nobody notices. And they can see your shine as well. It's the people whose eyes are clouded with dirt, who look at you like an alien from another planet. They don't know yet that all humans have the power to create the lives we want to live. It terrifies them that others can smell the despair they hide, even from themselves. Badger Clan digs deep to heal from the roots. Don't tell my Shinto soul that I'm appropriating from another culture, because we are all of the land we live on if we listen to it. One more, since we're not far from the financial district where I used to work at a large ad agency back in the 80s, which is when bad became good. The 1980s turns up like a bad penny, growing ever more tarnished with every return. Each noon, in the deep, dark canyons of finance, the sidewalk people await handouts from workers scrambling for quiche and latte, and maybe some dry cleaning on their midday break. One woman is there, yet not there. She folds her legs in a yoga pose, soles upturned toward the sky, straight back, refusing support from the polished granite behind her. Eyes closed in determined repose so she doesn't have to see the gum-spotted pavement, her scant scattering of coins, and the curious looks of strangers. Beside her, a talisman of better times, a briefcase, oiled leather with chipped initials. Every day she sits like an open sore, begging us to guess a story she cannot dare to tell. As days blur into weeks and months, her trench coat grows dingy. The velvet ribbon in her hair droops. Her face grows gaunt, and one day she's gone. But Annie, on the next block, hangs in there, though her husband died of AIDS, and SSI only covers half the month's rent. Annie's smile lures the cops to smile back, and her landlord keeps her bags for her when she has to sleep in the street. Annie's gums are so loose, she pulls out her fingers, she pulls out her teeth with her fingers. But Annie knows how to catch her son and share it with anyone who says hello. After lunch, I enter the cage that will shoot me up to my cubicle on the 24th floor. The elevator darkens when the CEO strides in. His wrestler's shoulders strain the seams of his Italian suit. His 5 o'clock flower pins us against the stainless steel paneling as we rise noiselessly higher. We hardly know we're moving until we're nearing a stop. One day, the CEO is away, and his assistant confides she needs an aspirin. Her boss made her take his mistress for an abortion that morning, and then spend her lunch hour at Tiffany's buying a diamond tennis bracelet for his wife. Thank you.
How about another hand for Shizue Seigel? going to entertain us, and Rob will be followed by Alan Harris and Rorschach. Rob, do you need a chair?
I do. Yes. I don't need the mic. Thank you, Greg. I was at an open in the Richmond district Thursday night, and it was on a street where the presidential motorcade was coming through. So during the open mic, the street was blocked off. And after the motorcade passed, around the start of the open mic, the rumor started going around that Joe was in the crowd in disguise. So when it came time for my set, I said, here's a little patriotic number for our special guest. This is called BW Blue. I once stood in the middle of a blizzard while an earthquake rumbled as a tidal wave hit in a volcano blew, then an asteroid struck. Still, I don't know what it means to be a black woman in the USA. I once stood alone without a friend, left by my lover while my newborn cried, convicted of indecent exposure the day I declared bankruptcy. Doctor said I had a fatal disease. Still, I don't know what it means to be a black woman in the USA. USA, USA, Billy finds strange fruit every day. USA, USA. Walk the trail of tears, but who leads the way? I was once mugged and beaten, shanghaied to be a pirate slave, sodomized with a broom and branded with a hot iron. Then I was castrated. Still, I don't know what it means to be a black woman in the USA. Woman of color in the USA.
Get a pen and a
Ooh, yes.
And is that's all you're gonna share with us today?
Well, you said there might be time later. I'd be
Well, you have time. I think you can-
okay, sure.
Yeah.
I got another one. Does this write in zero gravity, Greg? Okay, one more. Here we go. This is another new song, and this is a love letter to the alternative fuel industry. This is called the Biofuel Blues. Earth Day arose and was quickly assimilated. Business raised its skirt and the Greens capitulated. The story of the Greens, so tragic and funny. Only one big green and its name? Money. We burned all the coal till the people cried, too dirty. We looked around for something more purty. We burned all the oil till there weren't none no more. And our fracking sparked a whiny uproar. We started burning trees, called it biomass fuel, till the tree huggers screamed, uncool, uncool. We started burning kelp, forest of seagrass. Ain't nothing we won't biomass. We started burning cows, but there weren't enough around. We started burning gators, at least the few we found. But now we run out of things to burn. We need more fuel. Where can we turn? Where can we turn? Wait a minute. Hold on. Where's the chord? Where can we turn? It's the elusive chord. Never mind, we don't need it. It's time to burn people. That's a thing to do. Surely we can spare a country or two. Time to burn people the next logical way. Oh, developing nations, it's your lucky day. Time to burn people. Toss them in the tank. Seriously, who's gonna miss Uncle Frank? Earth Day arose and was quickly assimilated. Business raised its skirt and the Greens capitulated. The story of the Greens, so tragic and funny. Only one big green, and its name, money. 500 years ago, the population was 500 million. That's quite a lot. Can't tell you it's not. Now it's 8,000 million, 8,000 million, 8,000 million. All that peeing and pooping and relentlessly reproducing and eating and burping and chewing and slurping and burping and farting and Mario Karting. 8,000 million, 8,000 million, 8,000 million. Are we insane? Your planet-saving mission, Mother Nature, should you choose to accept, is to reduce humans from 8 billion to 100 million in one generation. 3, 2, 1, go! Earth Day arose and was quickly assimilated. Business raised its skirt and the Greens capitulated. The story of the Greens, so tragic and funny. Only one big green, and its name. Business manufactures everything, everything under the sun, including the illusion that something's being done.
Next up, Alan Harris. Please take the stage.
Yeah.
I'd like to read one of the few pieces I've ever written that's actually gotten published. And it was published in this weighty tome, which is called Civil Liberties United, which was edited by Shizue Seigel. It's a lot of poems in here. It's like 8,000 poems and weighs about 400 pounds. But it's a great book, and you should definitely look into it. I got the one fork, the one spoon, the one knife, the one bowl, the one dish, the one glass, the one mug, the one pot, the one pan, the one chair, the one table, the one lamp, the one mirror, the one room. That's all I need, just one of everything. If I was to win the lottery tomorrow, I would still want only one of everything. If everyone could be satisfied with just one of everything, there wouldn't be the tragically ridiculous imbalance of some people living in mansions with 1,500 rooms, some of which are never even occupied, while other people don't even have one room to live in. Is that really the way it's supposed to be? Is that really the way that God planned it? If so, terrible plan, God. Just awful. Start again. Worldwide minimalism, worldwide socialism, worldwide collectivism. First, gather up all of the material goods in the world and then divide them up evenly among the world's population. Then, give everyone an apartment that will provide them with just enough room to be comfortable, so that if, for example, you are somewhat obese, then you would get a bigger place than someone who is thinner. And if you lose weight, then you would be moved to a smaller place. And if your weight fluctuates too much, well, then that would suggest a bigger problem that you should probably get checked out. Maybe you have an eating disorder, in which case you would probably be sent off to some sort of camp where that problem would be dealt with. This is starting to sound a bit fascistic, isn't it? Maybe we should forget about that part and talk instead about how you very, very wealthy people probably think that this is going to impact you negatively. Well, you have a right to think that. This is going to fuck you up big time. You're going to go from living it up in a 1,500-room mansion to simply existing in a tiny bachelor apartment in a building that probably won't even have an elevator. But don't worry, while you'll be having to make do with a lot less, compensation will come in the form of the knowledge that there was a little girl somewhere who was going to go from living on the street without enough to eat to having a permanent roof over her head and a refrigerator stocked with healthy food. I mean, come on, how great will that be? Won't you get an enormous amount of satisfaction out of that? Don't you think that will make up for the loss of those 1,500 rooms? Well, just give it a try. Look, this is gonna happen whether you want it to or not, so you might as well make the best of it. And don't give us any shit. You don't want to end up in one of those camps where they send troublemakers, do you? Oh crap, this is starting to sound fascistic again, isn't it? Damn, this is hard. Every poem is my last, a receptacle for the final drops of creativity that can be wrung from my overused but underutilized mind. And when the last word is written, the last thought conveyed, the last sentiment expressed, then the finite amount of talent and cleverness and imagination and inspiration and inventiveness and resourcefulness contained within my mind will have been used up, and I will never again be able to deliver unto the world any worthwhile use of the written word. I will continue to write, if only to stave off insanity, but no poem that I manage to complete will be worth even the time that it takes to read it. And if I do manage to somehow write a poem that is actually readable, then that poem will be my last. And if not that one, then the one after it. And if not that one, then the one after it. And if not that one, then the one after it. It is going to happen. It is inevitable. The day will come when I find myself staring at the blankness of a page in a notebook or the cold white emptiness of a newly created Word document, and I will have no idea how to fill them up. It is a fear that haunts my dreams and my every waking moment. And the suspense is killing me, not knowing when the time will come when I can no longer write. Or maybe it's already here. Hang on, let me check. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. This poem sucks.
Shuck is up next, and then we will have our second of our two speakers.
This is a real treat. This is my first time here at this space and this reading, and it's wonderful. I'm very happy to be here. I have a Okay, here's a little trio of poems from my little chapbook. The title poem, First Hours of a Rainy Day. Lines in Oakland, Oakland lines. Endless freeways in California. Misty forests and angel minstrels. All is all is lines. Loved the girl, he loved the girl. Orange thinness, yellow sun, springs and clocks. Human fetus, incredible photos. Beetles in yellow submarines. The circle is magic. Child's art and pumpkins grand. Such a perfect smile. No more, gone. All is darkness, never ending. The sun's not seen in Oakland. The lines are in the painter's eyes. All healing is self-healing. You must pay attention. When I see a person, they are not whole. I only see a cross-section. Like a thief in the night, he snuck around, laying hands on people and praying for them, and they were getting well. You're out in the woods eating well, meditating, doing what you do. Hilarious emptiness, inability to know social capabilities, traps you in constructs of your own mind. What do you say to that? Open to the now, not while engaged in webs of thoughts and other crap. Split down the middle. There must be some way to reconcile. Holistic needs to be made whole once again after being rent asunder out here. Either somebody's lying or there's something wrong with our language. All healing is self-healing. Where earth meets sky, on a high mountain pass, all about me peaks, crowned with clouds, deep valley wells. The wind blows alive, mountains as far as the eye can see. The walk sweat cool upon me, balanced in the sky. I strip off my outer skin and fling it on the wind. Thank you.
To the second of our features of the afternoon, Kim Shuck. Kim Shuck has got a short bio here, and I'm going to read it slowly. Kim Shuck is a series of increasingly silly proteins. She's the 7th Poet Laureate of San Francisco, Emerita. She has written or edited something north of about 20 books, depending on the day you read this. And she is easily distracted by kittens, unusual beetles, and good chocolate. Kim Shuck is a treasure to this city. She, along with Shizue, have edited countless anthologies, have organized and done all kinds of work, including poets from around the city, Bay Area, and I am honored to introduce her. She has been very, very supportive to me. Please welcome Kim Shuck.
I know I'm fine. I do this all the time. It's just a little concerned about those lights, and I wasn't wrong. Some people are easier to support than others. Sometimes you need to cancel evenings, sometimes you just need to hang out. They've mistaken my bones again. Standing at the site of excavation, surrounded by the white cloud, the masked. In the hearing rooms, the hours-long uncut testimony, the tooth drilled for testing, the bones are mine all right. Femur curled like a fern frond. I cradle it like a doll, sing the old song so that it will know me. Like so many others, I collect, rewire, begin all more stories again. This wind is the antidote. Momentary, scaled, rattling warning. We are working on the net. A knot for each of our dead. A knot for each stressed and poorly chosen word. The unqualified can always be questioned to the point of collapse. This net we're making. We're hoping to catch ourselves again, this endless numbering the dead, the relentless year, collections of a thing that isn't history but justification, a collection of transgressors, another warning rattle. These fangs are hinged. The words, they're hinged. The story, a police report that doesn't match the footage. The wind rattles. The wind rattles bronze. Ghost Creek's particularly loud today, the sound twisting fog in the aftermath of another firework night. This year is a battlefield, the music of it, the death of it. Some mornings we are past playing, past singing of our own, just dragging our chosen mysteries to the next killing ground. We're hunting the graveyards and practicing fly casting off the roof at 4 a.m., so it must be summer. I paint symbols on my feet, study the evolution of bats and 21st century poetry on the 600 block of Chenery. Child, I braid you into my hair most days, and I'm the only one who can read you there. But then we're descended from the symbolic dead, and I'm becoming the old woman out of those stories, if not as quickly as I'd hoped. How many songs sung to self on solitary walks or into the open seam of a book or played to kittens have suffocated, bled out, been silenced by power? This communication is true, strange, sorrowful, has been cried into unlit corners, but don't you want to hear all the songs? You may find that your history is actually your youth. Sure, I can strike sparks, but they only catch the shredded bark when I'm alone. When did I find out I wasn't the only outline colored to a blank in your perfectly manufactured history equation with no remainder? And the bronze legacy paperweights that have settled in abdominal cavities, blotched in mental reflexes, rewrote the lines in your hand. You never wanted that furniture anyway, but you carry it from generation to generation, and in your inflicted histories I am strange. A story I have woven into every roadway and river ever since. Strange and heavily backlit. The shadow in the background, not engaged, the founding failure you can't outrun. On Thursday, I wear sapphires and lithium, bridges from Wednesday morning. We wake in the hour of grief. We wrap ourselves in overthink and the lost and heroic and fragments of healing they might be. Pen tracks, unresolved cordings they might be. Promised shards or other dangerous poisons. Might be a house sparrow perching in a fern tree. Might be the moth atlas, another unfamiliar navigation. On Thursday, a day to conjure deep luck, to conjure restoration, wrapped in warm, in the language of edges, sitting in among the lavender plants and other sorts of poems. In this time of the river shifting, the language changing as every language must, and the wind coming into the shore, fraying the cloud edges, muddying our thoughts in the afternoon. This week, we're hip deep in redefinition. Stare into the face of the past, stare into our pain, our loss, our fairy tale, the one we mistakenly made our heart out of, then left the hotel room without it. So now we pull the wind into the hole where our hearts were, imagining that we need something inside us so we can keep our balance. But the wind shifts and rummages, leaving us feeling uncertain. How many fireworks will it take to drive off the demons of our time? I want to crochet a solution. I want to write you a solution. I want to take magic made of glass, of silk, of stone, of words, and use the tools that I know to unravel these conjuries of entitlement, greed, and fear. To make a dust we can fluff into our feathers to kill or drive off the parasites, to prove once and for all that a system that designates murderers and sets them on its people is not sustainable and it is not working. I don't know. You can hunt the sky and the strange place you rent that isn't home, where the inside of the cupboard's painted the color of despair, the thing you were really looking for. Because some poet looked out the window and saw a bad god in the skyline, and another would rather be a demon than feed on one. And that sense of well-being you feel will be called delusion. Call it delusion. Make it a pet. It'll curl against the backs of your knees at night and keep you warm, no matter how many times you say down, off. But secretly you can be pleased, because some musician was depressed about 60 years ago, and this year it's fashionable again. We've always suspected that a warm meal and a good book and an ugly, delightful chair might be shallow. I, for one, know that I have terrible taste in movies, that I like airplane paperbacks and potato chips. There will always be a cherished place for someone who can identify the bullshit. The city forest isn't a sculpture, it's a sculpture. Self-assembling, falling apart, taken apart, sold at distance, used as a symbol, a machine, a meat grinder, a sidewalk household. Facades that tell stories from other times and the news stories that carry no weight of symbol at all. Some, but not all, are neighbors, and the sculpture is unquiet. The clicking and quiet singing runs all the way through all the hours, and visionaries have developed a way of telling the future by reading the lights in the windows on this hillside. Sing to me louder. I will love you forever, like the strange whimsy that wanders these hills with model train sets, the secret belief in genocide hand in hand with commerce, the threat of an untied rope, a rope made from the braids cut from men, cut from women, stolen from themselves, stolen from these hills with the gold, and that comforting smell of similar wildflowers and hidden water and hiding water and objects resentfully renamed. The city isn't a sculpture, it's a sculpture. The only perpetual motion machine that works, heartbroken, smug, struggling in joy, knowing that it's important to pick a side, a face of the polyhedron, perched on toes by the Pacific, say the names of the villages that were, the lakes that are, the lakes that curl wishing under schools and old churches, along with salamanders and bunch grass. Say the names of the toes and the shoeless who linked this peninsula into a mammal, a sculpture, the misdrawn, misunderstood coastal stage, the quiet, overlooked bats. The city isn't a sculpture, walls rebarred with bones, bones of stickleback and hopeful invasion. The city is self-aware. The city is a sculpture. The city is afraid of inconsequence, of ghost ships that soak in the memory of the bay, of hillsides that seep in the wet months, of stands of trees and the latest import plants. The city crawls with intention, and coyotes, and coy dogs, and lap dogs, and rats that feed on excellent garbage. The city isn't a sculpture. There are two things I know about this reading. One is that I am notoriously prone to reading short, and the other is that Greg will not let me do that. So I may end up stopping a couple of times. We aren't obliged to believe in one another, and it seems that for various values of we don't. As DC waddles along counting other things, what a story to be held up by symbols that you pull and chip. I've sketched them on my hands when I can't think of what to write. Symbols from the edges of a story in progress that believes I'm part of the prequel, that believes for varying values of they, that for purposes of cosmetic surgery, we are best left symbolic. In movies, romantic art, abstracted images of horrific suffering, but not dancing and ceremony and celebration, not at the election, not picking extreme numbers of backyard plums and trying to give them away, but vanishing in law, in cities, vanishing by design. It was my intention to have a copy of the new book here. It's probably sitting in a box with other copies of that book on my porch. Because it said it was being delivered today, so we sat there. didn't come before I got here, so there we are. So, those of you who know me know that I do political, although for whatever reason, I'm sort of not known for being particularly political, which is really weird, considering that some of that activity has gotten me a death threat from the Klan, among other things. Don't get me wrong, it'd be on my resume if I could figure out where to put it. I think it's probably part of the job, right? But the poems that I wrote during the lockdown, well, you're listening to them, so you know. The moment shakes me loose. The children are still caged. Mercenaries, black-bagging protesters. I sing a song of Portland, Chicago, Albuquerque, the threats to Oakland. Who will survive? I paint my poems with the smell of burgrass and wonder what the power junkies are thinking in the hole their addiction dug. What they believe will feed their second need for obedience and control. Who will live? Who survive? We're hostage in a time of mercenaries. We're hostage in a time of trouble. Tailored confusion. What are they thinking in their rooms? Not of destruction, but indifference. And how will we find clean trouble? Clean trouble to stir like creek water. Trouble we will ask for an answer. Now, I'm going to say these words, and I may be contradicted, but I believe this is my last poem. He says. These are the stones whose names I've forgotten. The one I've been using for a right eye and shades of light brown and gray is frighteningly accurate when looking at songbirds and fugitive political hostility. Another stone panics for me because they don't have time anymore. It's blue. This one looks like marble, luminous as skin, too heavy to be marble, might be cursed skin. I write with a soft, warm stone, but can never be sure what words will come out. This transparent has been scanning the prophecies, and she's trying to tell me something. Is that my last poem?
You got one more?
Okay. That was semi-predicted. Was it 2 a.m. or July when I remembered the mouthful of yellow jackets? A thing I needed to learn about stubbornness, memory, the accusation somewhere between magic and alchemy, the dazzle drawn from one or another water, that the morals of the time must always be decanted from the people who rule rather than those who are stolen, that sidewalk crack grime only flakes from one class of people, and that 1,000 songs of transformation of the gods of release, of escape, are not proof, that morals of the time are somehow one over-rinsed poem, one essay, one speech, worn once, handed down into transformation from gold into love, a thing we will retranslate from some languages into the word survival, which will be translated again into unworthy, a word that will be used that way until one wordless, healing song dressed in a garage sale shirt remembers what it used to mean, and maybe someone sits at that table reminding you there's more than one key to this house, while one speech still debates the humanity of thousands. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
One more hand for Kim Shuck. Okay, next up we have Suzanne. Oh, first of all, anyone who's here, Sarah here, anyone else who'd like to read who hasn't signed up? No pressure. No pressure. Sarah. Okay, Suzanne is up next, and Howard. And Howard after.
I'm
Suzanne.
too nervous.
You don't want to
No,
read
I
it?
will.
You read? You want? Oh, come.
No, I wish that somebody else could read it instead of me.
Let's give it a shot. Take your time.
Nervous.
I didn't have any of that wine.
May I grab you some?
No. I
Or
don't
something
drink
stronger.
water. Anyway, I worked 47 years, San Francisco, federal job and post office. 47 years, and then I've been retired 7 years. So I commuted, and I was grateful for one thing, that I took the Uber today from Alameda, and it was $45, I think. So, I'm thrilled to be here. And anyway, I didn't write poetry before, but I've been writing for the last 7 years. And I hear Greg on the Well Connected. He has a very good voice.
Yes.
And Kim Shuck, I think Alameda Poets or her name sounds familiar. No, I took
Kimi Sugioka.
oh Kimi Sugioka, because I took poetry at Berkeley City College. So anyway, I'm reading from my iPhone, and I have cataract too. It comes with age. Anyway, oh, here's one. Yeah, I'm Japanese American, but I wrote this for my Chinese postal friend when she lost her mother. I was with her in the darkness of the room and giving her like a personal eulogy. But she hasn't heard this one. It's called Wild Seed. Wild seeds, rice kernels, flawed, discarded. Rice steams, pounds and molds in shape. Conformity by tradition. Binds as children Chinese feet bound. To deter wandering, a silk Chinese dress fitted. Fastens down her body at the neckline. Delicate wrist with circular jade gold bracelets that remains with her as she passes on. Let me see. It's called Creek. I think I should be sitting down. I get too nervous. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. They say with my white hair that I'm like 80, age 80. But I sound like I'm 35 on the phone. Anyway, I feel better now. Creek. Empty bowls, too late. Just a bag of bones. Hideo, Toichi, Tomoe, Toshiko, and Mitsuko. A clatter of ivory keys. Shoulders hunch. Skeletal fingers curl. Cringe and shivers at thoughts. What whispers? Ugly words, echoes. Coffee-stained teeth clench. Grind to a halt. Symphony heats when Uncle alive. Grit of particles between teeth while pieces smash with a pestle and motor. Echoes of the recall of old songs sung, nasal and crass, brash out of tune, now cackle of bones, creep, less vicious words, just an occasional creak of the box as the earth shifts. finger infection, and I went to the ER. And it was on my middle finger too, my right middle finger. And then a year later, the same finger. So when I asked the doctor, he said paronychia, and this is what I wrote after. He didn't ever see this poem, but anyways, squeeze. In the clearing, the devils in sheep clothing festers, paronychia. Pain in a birdie digit, a dig under a nail bed to drain. Might I shed a tear? Make it rain, hallucinate to dream of far-off lands, insane. Float on a carpet in Arabia, with the city on lights below. I took a little tiny pill, my ticket, a gate to the dry fields of somewhere to plow. To rake and pull, to so cool. Blinders on, I am far away, in a place of no pain. As a field scrapes and clears of debris, my teeth clench on a dry towel, hard. To avoid how a lone wolf cries distant. To remain strong as dawn awakens. It won't be long. Stay and don't be gone. The wind blows sand over fields as the pulse flows to a crawl.
Anyone more, Suzanne?
Thank you. I expect to hear music like the Oscars.
We won't do that. We won't do that.
Okay, thank you. Somebody said I should do stand-up comedy, but then I don't have to quit my job, my daytime job, because I retired.
You could sit down.
Oh, yeah, right, okay. I got one more anyway, if I can find it. Maybe I can find it. Let's see, just a minute. Now I'm getting nervous again. Let's see. I'll just let it go till next time.
Okay.
But, anyway, thank you.
Suzanne?
Yeah, oh, thank you. Okay, let's see. This one here. Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. All right.
Thank
Next up, we have Howard, followed by Amy and Sarah. Yeah.
My name is Howard. I just want to thank everybody. I've been working on a project now for about a year and a half. By coming here for the last month, it's helped me develop it. Thank you. We would travel from Roxbury to Hart to Up, Fillmore, Chi-Town, but they all been ridiculed. Chris, black coffee cake fry. Maybe get on the melody, cold frame, or monk. Because we've been our own conversations to the sounds of donuts, bopping over lonesome, Lucy D's, bops, and expressors. With elevators take us to the D-top, you question day, and the blues questions night. You say, who's jazz, or who would know jazz? Sad, you ain't got it. So the beat becomes another quarter note hung outside to dry, adding a new time sequence of 4 to 4 and 2 to 2. For we travel, walking cool to the beat of a different drum. Step lightly, no fries, no freaks, no barking sisters or hungry hounds, no bullet crazy brothers, no crops to pick, no craps to shoot, no cops, and no gas heads, and no jive you. So step light, no screaming babies in the cold, and no broke out elevators to pick our nose, no Cadillacs on empty, or even a view to ride. Instead, we some boppers, bop with long coats, to walk and walk to above, and upcome philosophy of cool and groove. So speak to me, Daddy, I said, blues me, baby. I said, blues me, But I too sing America, red, white, and blue. This is a message for you. Do you know me? I am the darker brother. I am a black man. You brought me here against my will, and many, many were killed. But I too sing America, red, white, and blue. What can I do? I fought in all your wars. I gave you everything I had, and you took my soul and never gave it back. I built this country on my back and got little back, and that's a fact. But I too sing America, red, white, and blue. I'm talking to you. You changed my name, my culture, and history. I am a mystery. Messed my mind up, and I'm all fucked up. You raped my mother, my sister, my wife, and my daughter, body and mind. Somebody help me. But I too sing America, red, white, and blue. When the Constitution was written, I was labeled less than a man, and ladies weren't even in the plan. And in 2020, that still seems to be the case. Black man in last place. Destroying black boys, prison full of black men. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Judge me if you must. In God we trust. The bad I have done is many, but the good I have done is plenty. And yes, I have sinned. But we all have sinned, and we all want God's love in the end. But I too sing America, red, white, and blue. What are you going to do about me? I am the black man. Free me, free me, free me. Thank you.
Up next we have Amy, followed by Sarah. Anyone else who'd like to read who hasn't signed up?
I'm down to do something.
You want this?
Me.
Okay.
I guess we're back on.
Okay, great. Excellent.
Hello, thank you so much, everybody. My heart feels so full in being in this space and sharing with you. I haven't been to a poetry reading since the pandemic, so it's such a special treat. So the first poem I'm reading is called Mother Tongue. 1. At age 4, I entered a world completely foreign to my Chinese roots. At the long dining room table of my babysitter's home, I sipped mate through a straw, used a fork to eat, fried pork chops and salad, and drank powdered chocolate milk. When we'd go out, my babysitter would fix my hair just like her daughter's, high ponytail splash with Jean Nete perfume in my head. And like a little bird, I followed along, greeted people with a kiss on the cheek, listened to salsa music blasting from the car, and dreamt about having a gold chain necklace in the shape of my name. Here, I was allowed to exist without the watchful eye of a reserved Chinese mom, who said I was a wild horse, mouth too expressive and unbridled for my own good. Muy rico, sí, más por favor. With a foreign tongue on my mouth, I was practicing how to fly. 2. I practiced speaking English watching Barbara Walters on 2020. I watched her calm, collected manner interview notorious killers and movie stars alike. She taught me how to make small talk about the latest New York Times story, how to present scientific data with objectivity, and confidently ask rich folks to contribute their legacy for a greater social good. A friend once heard me speak at a conference. Wow, that was so white. She stared at me in awe. Fake it till you make it, I smiled back, feeling the tension in my jaw. I was still on camera. 3. I learned French at age 14 when my family moved to Montreal. My family was thrust in the middle of a culture war we knew nothing about. Like the time my mom went to the post office to mail a package, the teller spoke only in French. My mom pointed with her fingers and spoke only English. All the bilingual clerks just stared. Sometimes there was a stalemate, like in restaurants. Qu'est-ce que vous voudrez manger? Smoked meat sandwich with poutine? Ouvrage? Coke. Merci. Thanks. I thought a dictionary would help show that I was eager to learn and make peace. Like the time my teacher said, 649. I looked in the dictionary, but I couldn't find the word. I didn't even know I had to look up 2 words, 649. In defeat, I whispered for help from my classmates. They chuckled. 649? That's the Canadian motto. 4. I thought I had forgotten I was Chinese after 14 years of marriage to a white man. My mouth didn't know how to speak anymore, my Chinese tongue. My taste buds had grown accustomed to eating with a fork, swirling spaghetti and meatballs with red sauce. But my lips still missed slurping chewy fat noodles and vinegar soy sauce with chopsticks and a bowl to my face. Then one day I found a song on YouTube. A Cantonese woman sang through the speakers and gave me back my childhood memories. The smell of stir-fried vegetables, garlic, ginger, and hot oil saturating the air. Eating dinner together with wooden chopsticks and porcelain bowls of hot rice at our table. I used to choreograph elaborate ballet moves on the oriental rug, listening to canto pop, my unabashed dream of being a Chinese superstar. And suddenly the song ended, and so did my memories. Instead, I heard my mom's impatient voice yelling me back to reality. Why are you crying listening to this song? You're not even Chinese. 5. As a child, I thought I could erase away my mother tongue and swap it with languages that gave me freedom to explore the world and to find myself. I thought my mouth was a muscle that with enough practice would forget about its past. Then at age 46, I read a book of Chinese medicine, and I learned that the tongue is the gateway to the heart. Your mother tongue always remains a memory of the heart. The remember bones. Maybe this life is not about searching for new treasures and new discoveries. Maybe instead is it about remembering who we are, where we come from, and why we are here. Maybe it is about listening to our ancestors, our bones, ourselves, to tell us what they know that we have forgotten. Maybe it is about waking up again and seeing with new eyes something that we lost, but has always been inside us, waiting to be remembered. Maybe our life is not a series of journeys and adventures waiting to be discovered. Maybe our life, journey after journey, is a remembrance. Our DNA, our core, our essence, our sacred bone of life. And maybe I am here to remember all that I have forgotten, all that I have hidden and stored inside myself as a secret. Maybe there's a treasure inside my bones waiting to be heard again, felt again, known again. Maybe the secret is that I know who I am, that I have always known who I am. And maybe my mind has built up distractions while I was in exile from my own body, my homeland, my body state. And maybe just as the wind whispers to remember, just as birds fly to remember, I can sit to remember again what I already know, what I have forgotten once, and what awaits. Maybe I only need to ask.
first Megan, followed by Mindy, and then Sarah.
Hello, SF. My Korean mother named me Megan, but when I perform and do public events, I say I'm your righteous sister. I juggle a lot of things, so music is something that's always been there for me. But it's not something that it's not at like the top of my priorities right now, so I'm gonna try to work out my bass line and stuff on the piano, if that's okay. Is it available to open up?
I don't know.
Can you hear me? The piano?
It's Clara?
She is not. Just stepped out.
Oh, okay. So no.
Here she comes.
Then it's gonna check with her.
Oh, I was just wondering if I could open up the piano to
play?
yeah. Just to get the vibe. Let's see. So thank you for your patience while I dust this off. Not the piano, but my song. So I don't really have much released yet. It's all like festering inside my heart. You know how that can be. This is called You Done Me Wrong, by the way. This one is like the most intense poem to lyrics I've ever written to help me work through betrayal and anger. It's too low, sorry. You
bum, bum ba bum bum, bum ba bum bum, bum ba bum bum, bum bum. I trusted you. You were full of deceit. And you worried about me. Ha! I was so naive. Ooh. You told me it'd be worth my while, and I fell right into that crocodile smile. I saw straight through to my good heart right from the start. Mistook my kindness for weakness. You made a fool of me. Uh-huh. You led me on, you see. I believed in you and what we'd do. Others warned me. Getting involved with you would only bring tragedy. I found out for myself when you done me wrong. You really did it this time. You done me wrong. This time I really made up my mind. Let's see. Sorry. What was it? This time I really made up my mind. Sorry. My gosh. Ooh, it's so good, I swear.
Believe you.
You took a part of me that can never be replaced. That's not it. Shoot. Well, I'm just gonna pick up wherever, I guess. Started out as an offer I couldn't refuse, but then you used me, you abused me. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. I trusted you like a fool. I was such a fool for so long. What a fool for far too long. See, when you play with hearts like darts, it's a losing game. But in the end, who's left around to blame? If we learn the lesson, no matter it works out, we know to count the blessing without a doubt. Because first time I'm the fool, second time you're just being cruel. You were so cruel, you were so cruel. But I had to learn the hard way. I had to go for the try. I had to see it for myself. That's what happens when you roll the dice. I had to learn the hard way. I had to go through those hard times. Couldn't have it easy. I guess you could call it a vice. I got caught up in your scumbag motivations, your good guy impersonations, best of intentions, my ass. I finally know what I need to do. She finally knows what she needs to do. I got to shut down your advances, recognize the circumstances, stop taking chances on gambling with you. I got to make up for all the lost time. I put you first and myself on the line. Didn't have my best interest at heart. No more taking shots in the dark. No more wondering how did this happen. No more playing the victim. I don't know what you've awoken. Well, now I'm gonna show 'em. All because you done me wrong. All because you done me wrong. Oh, all because you done me wrong. 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 I guess I had to learn the on you. A work in progress. It takes a lot to get what's in here and you know, on all the streaming platforms, right? So much more than people realize. I want to do one more that'll be, oh,
Very, very short because
Yeah.
we're kind of running
okay, my bad.
short on time. Yeah. We're after.
Yeah,
So
I was
Very,
raised
very
in the South Bay in Santa Clara, San Jose area, so I really appreciate the North Bay love. This one's called Everything I Need. By the way, please don't share any of this. It's unprotected and never actually sung before in front of everybody. So,
We do have a streaming going on.
oh, really? Well, nobody steal my shit. So if anybody would like to sing with me, this one's more of a meditative mantra. And with the toning to start. I have everything I need. Everything I need is inside of me. I have everything I need. Everything I need is inside of me. That's it. I have everything I need. Everything I need is inside of me. I have everything I need. Everything I need is inside of me. And that's one that I came up with when those Instagram ads pop up or whatever, or that commercial, or so-and-so tells you about this latest product, and it's like, whoa. I don't need all that shit, like, truthfully. That's all just, you know, people trying to take my energy in the form of money. So, even if you don't have the things materially right now, you have the power to make it happen. Right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sarah.
All right, Sarah.
Oh, what a powerful day. I wasn't sure I was going to make it. I'm so glad I did. Both the preachers, everybody. Oh, so I didn't really come prepared, but I'll read a couple of things at the beginning of a manuscript I'm putting together, kind of called November. Tiny little raindrops. Sorry. Tiny little raindrops. What you say your name was? How do you stay assembled when you're so poor, or any order of body or mind? Open your arms to the passing storm. Why I sit here. The handsome barista in his black apron never loses his cool, handles the lunacy and desperation that laps around the cafe and enters through its doors every damn day, calmly face to face with one who curses him out of his own limping dispossession. He sets a man's aluminum cane where he can reach it to go on his shouting way. And they never, never call the cops on anyone. Why I sit here every day. It's the Pete's on Market Street. They keep me alive with good espresso. Okay, couture. I love the all in black of the glossy prose. Here you are. Oh, Flea, here you are, smiling and alive. I am lying on a hillside with naked breasts. You are sitting beside me, part of some gathering, touching my shoulder tenderly. That smile I passed by almost daily down here as you stood panhandling with a scrap of cardboard, often blank or with a white streak of bird shit to match your Zen approach. You so dark-haired, handsome, now your smile sad with cosmic understanding. We are all homeless, glowing with naked beauty on this earth. The stillness of your hand on my shoulder was sheer tenderness. Did you find the woman named Maya you said you loved? Life loves itself, though you may be tired of it. The silver fire of the sun sinks down. All souls stir and yawn. Thank you.
Sarah.
Oh,
Mindy, you're up.
And post-its too.
Oh,
yes. That's exciting. Okay, so,
Okay.
oh, red.
We're right at the end, so.
That's a really nice thing you do.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
I'm Mindy. I'm actually here from Honolulu, Hawaii, visiting my friend Megan here. Actually, I'm a songwriter too, singer. And yesterday it was like my first day in the city, and I didn't know the cheap hotel I got was in the rougher parts of town, which I found out as I walked to the cute little restaurant I wanted to try for breakfast. It just made me realize, I guess it's kind of like everywhere people struggle, right? This is called, so I wrote this when I got back to my hotel. And Megan was working, so I was like on this trek by myself, and I was like, wow, it was quite the experience. American dream. I can't walk these streets. Fiends on every corner and in between. Men can't calling me, asking me como te llama. I'm asking myself, this can't be my karma. I already paid my debt, 10 years of unrest, and now all my flags are in distress. The world's upside down, I can't find the ground. They got me running like a rat on wheels for dimes. It's a test. The American dream. Uncle Sam got a hold of me. All it takes is a taste of green money, and somehow they all want more of it. Nothing is enough in the world of instant this and that. Brother drank 3 Red Bulls just to run it back. 33 years old having a heart attack. We're all just chasing dreams, too busy to see, too tired to do something. It seems they like it when you cry. Your emotions make it hard to decide. Too busy staying alive. The government tried. We're left empty inside. Pretending their actions fable. Anyone alive can feel the turbulence. How do we get to this? Killing kids in the street, black women in their sleep. Nurses, doctors. I can't sleep. Who's supposed to look out for me? Police and politicians, criminals on the scene. Treason and reason for taking lives. Humanity is standing on the side, wondering why. The American dream.
Yeah.
All right. I'll sing a song for you guys, if that's all right.
Short song?
Yeah, it's short. It's called Sweet Melodies.
You want me to hold your phone to the other microphone with the song?
Oh, yeah. Is there another microphone?
Yeah, right here.
Oh.
The MC microphone. Can I hold her phone to it so we can play her track?
Oh, I was just gonna go acapella with it.
Yeah.
Do that? I wrote this song for my sister Melody. She passed away in 2000, I don't know, several years ago. And she had an opioid addiction, and among some other things. And one thing that really broke my heart when she left is that I didn't really know a lot about her problems. And so I wrote this song for everybody. You know, everyone in this room, I just wish that people would share their stories. That's one thing I love that you said. It's so important that we do share our stories because it's one thing that keeps humanity going. So I wrote the songs in hopes that everyone on earth could walk into a room and feel comfortable being themselves and not to hide, because people do want to know about you if you give them a chance. You gotta press play. See how this sounds, I don't know. She's got style and fashion, grace of a lady you can't teach that. Smells so sweet, eyes you can see. Everybody's curious, they want to know your name. Like misery's gone insane. Well, look at you, and I'm speechless. Yeah. Baby, how'd you get so sweet? Sing me your melody. Oh, this is my design. Tell me how'd you get so fine? Baby, how'd you get so sweet? Sing me your melodies. Oh, this is my design. Tell me how'd you get so far? She ain't like any other. She's got loyalty. You can't teach that. Oh, she walked the walk. She talked the talk. Something like a confidence. Everybody's curious when you walk into the room. Something like a beauty queen. The taste of her name from paradise. Yeah. Baby, how'd you get so sweet? Sing me your melodies. Oh, this is my design. Tell me how you get so fine. Baby, how'd you get so damn sweet? Sing me your melodies. Oh, this is my design. Tell me how you get so fine. Thank you so much.
Anyone else that hasn't had a chance to read? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, well, thank you for colossal afternoon. I'd just like to read a real quick poem, Pray For. I pray for peace, for war to cease, for kids to breathe, for love's increase. I pray for youth, for guns to truce, for hate to lose, for freedom too. I pray for calm, for respite from harm, for bombs to disarm, for cold hearts to warm. I pray for strife's end, for foe to turn friend, for this message to send, for a better world. Amen. We won't be here for December. We're going to take December off, the holidays. But we'll be back in January 20th. We'll be back with Raymond Nat Turner and with Agneta Falk.
Wow.
So please come out and happy holidays. Love and hard, stay safe. Thank you all so very, very much. Thank Clara and the staff of Clarion. One more hand for our features. Thank you. I'm glad you decided to share. That was.
You know, we went to saw Lauren Hill last night.
Oh.
And my takeaway was.
No, she was there. She showed up.
Hey, that's what she was saying. She's like, everybody's talking shit. Is she gonna show up? She's not. She's always late. She's like, it takes some sacrifice to be here.
I know. She said.
Lucky I'm even on this.
I know she said that before.
I don't blame her.
Greg, I just wanted to say goodbye.
Oh, thank you.
It's my pleasure.